Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Tuesday. How art thou?
I'm swell. I'm here to listen and to react to whatever you're about to tell me, and I'm excited.
We're doing another quintessential podcast episode of I Have Questions. This is really how it all began. I've just been feeling an underlying sense of rage, and so I think that it's cathartic/therapeutic for me to vent them as questions in this format, and then you as the sounding board/mirror to respond and let me know if I'm being insane or not, or to hype me up has been very helpful, so thank you in advance.
You're welcome. That's
Okay.
what I'm here for.
Starting off, number one, why do some people feel the need to ask questions just for the sake of question asking? Do you see this on your team ever or in your life?
Yes. Yes. Throughout my years in my career, there's always one or two people that just either want to hear themselves talk or they feel like it's the right thing to do to ask questions. Like they're trying to be a suck up, and it just is like, no, I don't want to be in this meeting for 30 more minutes. Just
Yeah.
stop asking questions.
And there's always like every job I've ever had, there's always some form of team chat or team something, where there's just the ability to communicate with people en masse. And very recently, I just had this realization that there are some people who just ask questions. I don't know if it's to drum up drama or to just stir the pot. We very specifically had like a program that we use, like going to get an update. So the whole, like the dashboards and just all of the shit was going to look different. One of my coworkers kept saying, has it updated yet? Has the change happened? Because, they're like, it's going to happen on this day, but they don't give you a specific time. And then they say maybe midday. But I literally looked at my phone and yelled at my phone, if you can't see the change, it hasn't happened. Like, why do you keep asking a question that you yourself can find the answer to? What are you looking for? I think it's a weird passive-aggressive way to complain and not seem like a complainer.
Mm-hmm.
Like they told us this was going to happen and it's not happening.
Oh, 100%. I do agree with that. If it's a do you have an update question, it's more like I'm impatient now and you haven't responded to me. In my head, I'm like, if I haven't heard anything, then it must not be done yet.
Yes. Okay. Anyway.
I agree with you.
Question number 2 that I have already told you the backstory on. But if you're a MAGA boy, BOI, if you're a MAGA boy, and how are you going to be offended if I make a joke about the current president? Because number 1, I thought comedy was back, motherfuckers. And number 2, I thought snowflake behavior bothered y'all. And number 3, isn't getting butt hurt over a low-key joke snowflake behavior?
Yeah. It's hypocritical.
Be consistent.
Be consistent.
And for context, it's not that I went on some kind of a rant online about the current president. I just made a joking comment and called him Big Orange, which I don't feel like is that insane when half of these MAGA boys are still driving around with FJP stickers.
Mm-hmm.
Like what I said was so low-key, non-offensive, just like a... Anyway, like this dude got like so offended he dissociated from the conversation. And I was like, that's insane. That's an insane. And it's also insane that you are so attached that you think that by me making a joke about another person that I have insulted you as a person. Why is your identity that wrapped up in a politician of any kind?
That's what you call the extreme, where either way you're sitting in the position of if someone says something, then I either feel like I'm in a hostile environment because of their opinion, which is inaccurate, or I am highly offended by you, which is directly impacting my emotions that I can't control because you said something that I don't agree with.
Yeah. I want to be like, do you guys realize that like the political spectrum is not a spectrum? It is in fact a circle. And like the further you get to the fringe, the more y'all meet back in the middle.
Yeah, that's true. You need to go somewhere else.
Yeah, y'all motherfuckers
together.
The same. Anyway, okay. Do you know at the gym, the leg press where you're leaned back and you're pushing it up? Okay, does anybody else feel like if you fail that it's going to like crunch your knees?
Crush your body, yeah.
That's all I could think of. I did that for the first time yesterday and I just sat there and that was all I could think about. And I fucked up a little bit and told Jason I was kind of nervous about being able to do that weight, which I could squat that weight. So clearly I could just push it with my legs up. And so as it was like coming down, I was like, oh, like just because it's the weight is coming at your face, It's a different feeling. He thought I was like losing control and immediately like got down to hold the sled. And I was like, oh no, I didn't mean like that. And he was like, motherfucker. Whoops. But anyway, is
I
it
will
not
hold
terrifying?
on. Yes, I hold on to those safety things like I'm ready to click them in like immediately because what if the thing malfunctions? That's what I'm afraid of. If it's too much weight, because it's kind of happened before where it's just like, or I may be just too fatigued and I'll just be like, ah, shit. And then it's just like my knees are pressed up. I'm like, I need, like, it's not like the end of the world. But if it breaks, then it's like, that's where I get nervous. And I'm like, abort, get me out of
I
here.
know. This thing had like for real stoppers and bumpers, but I was looking at where the stop was for the sled and trying to calculate how much my legs would have to frog into my body. And I was like, I just don't know that is a safe distance for me to not be smashed. Okay.
That's funny.
Why can I fall asleep at 1 p.m. and not 1 a.m.?
Ugh, that's a true statement.
I mean, there have been multiple times this week for whatever reason that I was like, I think I could lay down on the floor and sleep right now. Just immediate. If I closed my eyes on any surface, I could fall asleep. But at 1 a.m., when I get up to go to the bathroom and get back in bed, it's like, nope, we're just awake now.
I wonder if it's because when it's 1 o'clock and you're tired and you need like a reset, then there you go. But if it's at 1 a.m. and you've already been sleeping for a little bit, your body's like, okay, I got like what I essentially needed. So now like I'm good brain is gonna fire up a little bit more. I don't know, it's weird.
Sometimes when I walk to the bathroom, I'm like, maybe if I just don't open my eyes as much, I won't wake up as much.
I legit sometimes also my eyes a little funky. Sometimes I only open one eye and then I'm like, don't look at your phone, don't look at the bright lights, don't do anything.
Yeah.
Just get up, do your thing, whatever I'm doing, and then go back to bed and don't think.
Yes.
Just go back to sleep.
Just hurry. Hurry. But that's like inevitably when Jason is snoring or making some kind of sleep noise. And it's like I could sleep through it if I were asleep. Okay. Okay, also related to this, but why is 8 hours of sleep on a workday completely insufficient? But 6 hours on a weekend and I can wake up just like being awake, just feel totally refreshed.
That's an interesting question.
I know what the answer is. It's psychological, but it's just really annoying to me.
Yeah, because you have nothing to do. So you're like, I think also in the back of your head, you could fall asleep at 1 p.m. Like you could take a nap.
That's probably true.
You know what I mean? 100%, 8 hours. Also, I'm like, oh, I'm getting 8 hours of sleep because I'm going to bed at 11 and I have my alarm set for 7. Absolutely not. I check my Oura ring and it's like, you got 5 hours and 30 minutes. I'm like, what? What was I doing the other 2.5 hours? Awful.
I know, dude.
I hate it.
I know. Next on my list of questions for the world is why can't my insurance company pay for massages? And I don't mean little Bobo rub down massages. I mean, get in there with the elbow. Specifically, my new obsession is myofascial release massages, where they really it's work for me and the massage therapist. But I was having, number one, I get tension headaches that sometimes turn into migraines. 10 for 10, if I get a massage, I won't have a migraine for weeks after that. This is as the insurance company, would you not rather just pay $200? Give me a copay of $50. Wouldn't you rather just pay a portion of that instead of the portion that you were going to pay for a primary care appointment and the portion that you were going to pay for Fioricet as the migraine medication? Would you not rather you would save so much money?
No, because you know why? My theory is that them and pharmaceuticals are in each other's beds, sleeping with each other every night. And they said, let this person get tension headaches that turn into migraines for so many years that she goes into the thing and she has to do a migraine medicine. And when she does that and she's on it for the rest of her life,
Yeah. Ugh,
I hate it.
Off. It pissed me
There's
off.
no preventative.
No preventative. And it's not even, it's like a cure. I was even having weird recurring hip pain that I think was, I don't know, it was some muscle that I was having tension around my butt because I sit all day and I drive a lot. So I was stretching and trying to use a standing desk at work and things like that just to, change what I was doing. And I was starting to get the tingling, sciatic type pain, numbness, that kind of thing. And I was like, uh-oh, because nerves are finicky, bro. And if you cut off a nerve damage is irreversible and it's fairly easy to attain. So anyway, I went and they also addressed that by digging their elbow into my butt cheek muscle. No more tingling.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm like,
It's crazy.
meanwhile, you guys could have sent me to PT. That's what would have happened if I went to my primary care, which at least PT isn't the medication. But it's like, again, you could have paid the money that you were going to pay in like 6 sessions of your reimbursable rate for physical therapy was cheaper than my one time at the massage therapist that I go like once every 4 to 6 months.
I know. I don't have an answer for you on that one, but I understand your question, and it makes me mad.
So fucking okay. Okay. Also, it even does me a lot better than the chiropractor. Okay.
Oh, if you do chiropractor and massage, what a beautiful combination that is.
Just okay. Okay, here's a great question. Apparently marijuana was rescheduled to a Schedule 3 and nobody's talking about it.
Okay, I agree with this. I'm very confused because came up something on Instagram or something. We were texting about it. I'm like, what? I didn't even know.
I mean, they signed something. My understanding is there's still like further things that have to happen within like the Department of Justice and I think like DEA as far as like formal reclassification, but this is still a huge deal. It's still a huge deal. And I think the FDA has some stuff that they need to do. Anyway, this is a major deal and I don't understand why we're not talking about it. And the cynic in me can't help but think that now I made fun of MAGA boys. So the blue buddies, I don't know what you want to call them. Like, I feel like stereotypically the Democratic Party and liberal-leaning people in this country have been fighting for marijuana to not be a Schedule 1 for how long? And then it happens, but it's like not associated with the person that you like. So now you're just going to choose it doesn't exist. Also, doesn't this make you mad about like every president that you've ever had that you've been jazzed up about as a Democrat, that it was literally that fucking easy?
I'm just really confused why no one's talking about it. I agree.
No one. Like Obama, you had 8 years. I'm just like I'm offended. I'm offended that we're not talking about it and that it was this simple apparently. And all of the presidents before this were just like, nah. And then never mind the Ibogaine and the psychedelics that they're now changing so that we can have FDA approval so that they can be used medically and hopefully save thousands of people from a life of just like destruction and disease and just fucking terrible fallouts from trauma and drugs and all this other shit instead of being on a pill that numbs you out for the rest of your life. And no one's talking about that either, which is so offensive. And I also am just like, shouldn't all of you boomer hippies who are like blue no matter who be so excited because I just feel like this is your shit, but you're just mad that Big Orange did it. And again, how entrenched are you in your own ideology that you can't acknowledge the positives of a person? As to the MAGA boys, how are you so entrenched in your ideology that you can't acknowledge the negative of a person? Like no one president has been all good or all bad. There's pros and cons. And like, what's wrong with you anyway? So bothered. There's been no discussion. I'm like, if I didn't listen to podcasts and go on social media, I wouldn't even know this had happened.
If you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known either. It's crazy.
What are we doing?
And I follow some, not fringe accounts, but just like, it's not like the normal media. You would think somebody would have posted about it.
You would think somebody somewhere would say something.
Weird.
This is a huge win for a lot of people. Okay. I will move through this a little more quickly and then so I can shut up. I have another question related to consistencies. And how is someone pro-war?
It sounds like a weird statement.
Like, how is that a thing that you... Now, if you're like, okay, in this like geopolitical situation, certain measures are required for whatever. Like, as far as the actual Department of Defense, that's now the Department of War, which I also find extremely frustrating. But how are you going to be like super into bombing people and also stereotypically in the same sentence say that you're pro-life when by the very nature of war, people are dying?
Pro-life seems it doesn't sound good to me.
I mean, I can understand if you're war neutral. I'm not saying everyone needs to be a pacifist. I'm not saying that maybe there aren't situations where violence is appropriate. Anyway, this is my peeve. Okay, last but not least, I'll rapid fire through these. How are we not addressing the fact that our congressional members are still allowed to trade stocks? All of them. Both sides of the aisle. You know who you are. We know who you are. We can follow you. How is that still legal? Anyway, why do I even pay attention to any of this information that's outside of the immediate place that I live? Because all it does is make me mad and I have literally no ability to change it. And then I just get frustrated and Sometimes I think willful ignorance is maybe a better policy, but I don't know how to turn off my brain. Also, why can't Spotify just show me new music? They just keep showing me all of the same shit that I already listened to. And even when I click on the playlist made for you that's New Music Fridays, it's still the same fucking music.
Oh, that's stupid. I need Apple or someone to create a new suggested playlist off of the songs I'm listening to so I can gain new music. They don't do it good right now.
No, that's literally what Spotify is supposed to be doing. But I'll look and I'll be like, you motherfucker, these are like in my favorites already. And I already know these artists. Like I want new, and risk me not liking it.
Yes.
I can't keep listening to the same music all the time. Anyway. If anyone has any suggestions on how to solve any of these problems, please let me know. And until next week, I love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.